what I need, you know. Here we have to forget about our interests and think of Gambia. I said it at the beginning, you know, because what this favors this person doesn't favor the other. So we cannot just wait till it favors the other, you know. There are also certain things that doesn't favor the diaspora, but nobody hear any comments or noise from this side. Why? Because they are thinking of the Gambia. This should not be an individual interest. That's why I said it also before. This constitution is not for the president there. It's not for the MP there. It's not for you and me there. It's for the whole Gambia there. And we have to respect it. Gambia has suffered a lot. And here is the opportunity to take the country to the next level. So the people should try and understand that. Just because they want Barrow to stay or not, they don't even know what is coming 21. From my point of view, 21 will be a big surprise for Gambia. It's not the old tradition of election. And many people are awake. So let no politician fool himself. Gambians are observing, they are quiet and waiting for the election. So if you want to be voted, do something that they are satisfied. There are a lot of, even for Barrow, if you look, it's a very dangerous thing because the constitution and these reforms were one of his promises. So at the end of the day, he's to tell the Gambians, why are they not? And Gambians are not sleeping. So on the other hand, it's even his interest to make sure that the constitution is there, the reforms are there before the election. For him, I would make sure that I concentrate on these things than even going for a tour. Because Gambians are waiting for his promises. So he should make his effort to make sure that these are there. If not, at the end, he cannot tell the people, I promised you this and here is it. You understand? So it's not an easy thing to promise a Gambian today, maybe yesterday, day before. But Gambians are awake. If you walk in Gambia, everybody is having a handy. Everybody is in internet. People are informing themselves. No? That's why, even in the West, every day is getting more and more difficult for politicians. You cannot fool the people today. It's very difficult. Those days were over. You know, were easy. Those days. You can tell the people something today, even you know that you are telling lies, and they believe in you. After voting, you forget them. But the time is changing. It's not going to be easy. And the old tradition, you go and make your drums and promise the people, and then you think they'll vote for you. That is, you have seen it by Jame, that things are changing. No, Gambians are always quiet and wait for the right moment. So being a president or MP, I don't know, you know, because what they are doing now, they should not think that many people are supporting that. Just that they don't talk like them. But you have to ask the Gambians who are against this act, or who are ashamed of Jonathan coming to Gambia. There are a lot of Gambians who are very angry about the whole thing, but they are just keeping quiet. I can tell you. You know, so the day will come. That means being a president or what, whether next time or time after, you have to be voted first. Then you can fight for that. Because it can be you fight for this and you are not voted, then the next day you are against it. But it was your idea. You understand? That's why I said the last time here, we need clarity in our lives and then always try to be consistent and always try to accept the truth, but not always favor because we are having it good, and when you have it bad, you are against it. You know, that is for me not real. So thank you very much, and then I think to close then.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you both again. Great conversations, great talking points here. Definitely. I think, you know, it is good that the Constitution did not pass, because if you look at it too, I mean, I wanted it to pass so that we can move on from where we are and move on to the next chapter. But then when it didn't pass, I also realized that maybe that's what's best for us, because there are things that are in the old Constitution that are good today, a lot of good things in there, and a lot of bad things in there. The draft Constitution is also like that. There are some good things in there, there are some bad things in there. And you know what happened? People did not realize all of these until it was too late. Okay, and this is what happened even with the president and his team and his cabinet. They found themselves running after two twos, 22, catch 22. Which two? Which one do I go with? Which two do I catch? If I catch this two, which is the old Constitution, I'm gonna be hurt badly. If I leave the old Constitution and go with the new Constitution, well, there's something in there too that's also going to bite me big time. So which two do I catch? This is what we found ourselves in. And the best way, like I said earlier, should have been in the planning process. And just like Sawaneh was saying, and I'll go back to that. It really should have been that way. I wanted them to sensitize people before you go to people, by getting it on television for 6 months. I said at least 6 months, because if you think about it, 6 months, there are 52 weeks in a year, which means there are 26 weeks in 6 months. If they take every week of that 26 weeks and cover one section of the Constitution, pick a section of the Constitution that's impactful, that really need to change, and get on national television and radio stations. Let's say they come up with a program every Thursday, 8 p.m. is the Constitution time. Get the lawmakers in there, get experts to sit down and pick a section that they're going to talk about. This week, here's the section we're going to talk about. This is what's in the Constitution. And here are the things that are really bad in there that really need to change. And here are the things that we need to keep in this section. Let people know. That way, if you let them know ahead of time before you go to talk to them, you will put them in a better situation for them to be able to answer. Otherwise, it's just going to look like when you want to sell me a car. You bring a car to me and say, you want to sell me this car. Or you say, I want to change this car. Well, if you ask me, what do I change on this car? I'm going to tell you what I see. I won't know what's else is wrong with the car, because you didn't tell me what was wrong with the car in the first place. If you approach me in a nice way and say, hey, I want to sell this car, or I want to change this car because the transmission is bad, because the engine needs an overhaul, because all the pistons are bad, the brakes are bad, the alternator doesn't charge the battery, and you tell me the battery is also dead as a result of that. You give me all these reasons. I'm going to tell you, yeah, I think it's right. Now that I know about what's wrong with this car, I'm going to tell you it's best you just buy a new car. Yeah, just go find a new car. You just need to buy a new car rather than trying to change something on this car. So let's start fresh and go get a new car. I will tell you those things because I know what is wrong with the car. When the Constitutional Review Commission went out to meet people in the villages, they didn't tell them what was wrong in the Constitution. They just went and told them, we want to change the Constitution. What do you think? It's just like that. People are not going to come up with everything they should have thought about if you had given them a chance and an opportunity and let them know what is in there first. So, and to Sawaneh's point, the other part of it is, there are some things in the new Constitution that are not good for the current administration, but it's not there for them. It's there for everybody else. This is what they need to understand. If we put it into Constitution because there's an anti-corruption bill or there's something against corruption, well, that's for the country. It's not for this administration. So if you're on corruption and you're corrupt, you better stop. That's the signal. You need to stop, because we don't want corruption in our country. Because we're going to start it with you, because you're the one that's there now. When you leave, whoever comes next, whether it's Hussein Dabo or Khalifa Saleh or Mai Fati or anybody else that comes, it's going to apply to the same people. The same rule will apply to them. So it's for everybody. That's what's good for Gambia. We don't want to enable people to be corrupt in our country and do whatever they want with our money. No, we don't want that. We want to stop corruption, save all that money with all the revenue that we collect, and put it to better use in our country, and stop borrowing money that we can't pay. So that's what it is. They need to understand that's not for them. They should not take that personal and think that, well, they're doing that because of me, it's because of us. No, it's not because of you. It's because that's what Gambia wants. We don't want you to play with our money. Just that simple. So people, this is what, and I'm glad this is a civic education. People need to understand that all the good laws that they're putting in the Constitution is for the future of the Gambia. It's not against President Barrow. It's not against anybody. It's for everybody. Whoever comes to become president, that's what you're going to face, because that's what's good for the country. That's what other countries are doing to minimize corruption in their country. They have tough laws. If you're caught doing corruption, you're going to jail. That's it. You're going to jail. You're not going to escape that. And we want that there for all of our ministers, all of our anybody in the government, directors, and anybody responsible for anything financially. If you're corrupt and you're caught, you need to go to jail. You need to be taken, arrested, prosecuted, put in prison for what you did. That's it. So I fully support things like that. But anyway, I'm going to stop here again and let Mr. Sawaneh come in.
You are muted.
You're on mute.
Yeah. So I think I agree. I'm glad that, Sam, you agree with me on those terms that I mentioned in terms of coming and communicating. I think the Constitution was undermined before it became accepted by many, even though it comes from us, because all this speculation, especially when they went around, they said that the West kind of put their input. That's why they gave us a lot of money from that. Remember from that EU meeting in, I think in Brussels, Hussein Dabo, all of them, Barrow and all of them went there and they had a pledge. So they said that when the Constitution theme went around to get, diaspora feedback, that's when they kind of like pushed them to include those, gay marriages and some of the things that don't work. That are not in parallel with, that are not in line with our cultures and our religious belief. So all those suddenly are not true. Because again, those people overseeing the Constitution, they wouldn't put those things there without letting us know. And then the parliament cannot just say that it's vague. Some of the parliamentarians is vague. That's why they don't believe in, they think that will encourage gay marriage and so forth. Again, constitutions are there to get amended. If that is even there, that could get worked out in the parliament and they could come back, and bring it. And then the executive can look at it and then pass it to referendum. But all this is because of fear. Fear of the executive. People are worried about themselves. They're not worried about the country as a whole. If they're concerned and worried, they will go line by line and look at the Constitution and see what are Gambian people 50 years from now, 10 years from now benefiting from this. Because that Constitution gonna, serve the way we're gonna be governed for years to come. So it's not about me being there today. If I come, I just have to make sure that it's implemented the same way it needs to be implemented. But we have ideas, Gambian people, but we cannot execute them. And we don't stand by them to make sure that they are executed. We don't have command. We have people. We have leaders that will grab ideas and sleep with it. All these good laws are in our country. All these good things that we talk about, people come up with it, but guess what? They sit on the shelf. There is no implementer. It's somebody who will implement these ideas. There's somebody who will oversight them and own them and make sure that they are all, done the way it's supposed to. That's why corruption, we cannot fight it. Because you, who's supposed to be the policeman, you yourself, you are involved in the corruption. How are you going to fight something that you are involved in? Look at what happened with the with the PU thing. I mean, the guy whose money was taken away with the anti-crime. You are being a policeman. You're accused of taking somebody's money. You're supposed to be the one, going after people, taking people's money, but instead, you use all kind of tool, at least according to what they said, that this guy's money was taken. Yeah, some call Mr. Kinte. So all these things, we have problems in the Gambia because we are not doing what we need to do. So once we started having people who can make sure that everything is oversight, there is a light shed on every transaction. This constitution makes sure that we have cashless money. We make sure that all the transactions can be, tracked down. Financial responsibility. We came out of dictatorship. Now we need to be financially responsible. We need to make good judgment when it comes to spending. We need to work on economics. We need to prioritize things. We shouldn't be misplacing priority. Look at the Gambian ferry situation. People were, risking their life the past few months just to cross from Banjul to Barra. When I saw the scene, I was devastated. We need to make sure that our medical sector is taken care of. With this constitution, it kind of governs us so that every department will be financially accountable and there will be check and balance. And then everything will be applied across the board. They're saying that the president don't have power. Why would the president have power? People have power. That's what democracy is about. It's the people. Oh, it cut down the president's power. Well, you want monarchy system? Let's go for that. If you want monarchy system or you want dictatorship, let's go for it. But if you want democracy, don't ask questions about the president's power or the executive power has been, scaled down. It should be. People should have the power. And the National Assembly need to know that they have some power. But they themselves, I believe, with all what has happened, I believe that National Assembly is even more corrupt. In the bottom of my heart, especially with that, loans that we talked about a few weeks ago, having to be there looking for loans. You want loans, go to the bank. Get a recommendation from whatever official you want and get your own loan. Why would you put that on our budget? So they have a bunch of crooks walking around that place that we need to filter. We need to look at Touchlight and go after and spot them. And this constitution is the one that can do that. If you cannot stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you know that you cannot be transparent to lead people, get out of that position. Don't be there for yourself. Gambian people, let's start, working on ourselves and on each other. Let's not vote for somebody because they are my relative, because they are, this, because we are the same tribe. No. Is he accountable? Is he fit? Has he demonstrated those kind of values that a leader can do? Once we started doing that, guess what happened? We will see a lot of change. Level-headed minded people, it doesn't matter educated or not educated, will come on the surface and our country will be rescued. Thank you.
So
So
yeah, Mr.
final words to
yeah,
close out.
that was a great talk. You nailed it. That's what we need. And the people at the parliament should also understand that everything is for the Gambians, not for themselves or any other individual, not for you and me. And the people voting them also should always ask themselves, after voting them, have they solved their problems or not? And that's the way to vote for them again or not. Then Gambia will also be okay. And for the constitution and the anti-corruption bill, there is no doubt. They said a police can never be a friend to a thief. So some of them are allergic to it. That's why it's put away since nobody tried to look through. And they know that the country needs it. You know, the country needs it. It should have been the first bill to be signed. I used to say that every day in the Gambia before going forward, because everybody knows where our money, you know. So for me, it's no surprise when they neglected the anti-corruption bill that the constitution would be also be neglected, which is very sad because they are not sitting there for themselves. They are sitting there for Gambia. And Gambians are waiting. Gambians have been suffering all these years, you know. So they should not be there, luckily, and think that the Gambia is for them. Some people were thinking that, but where are they today? So I think they have a lot of things to learn. They should not think that it's only today, but tomorrow is also coming. They should not think that they can do what they want. The next commission is coming, whether in 5 years, in 2 years, in 3 years, in 1 year, but it will come. That one, they have to make sure that they deal with Gambians also properly. And nobody knows who is coming. Maybe better, maybe even worse. Nobody can tell. But one I know that this election coming will be a surprise for many people, because we are having now almost 16 parties, I heard. So they are going to divide this cake. So it's not going to be easy for anybody. That's why I used to say, not the old traditional way. Some will be very surprised. You can write that down. You know, so yeah. So when they think that it's an advantage for them to say no today, tomorrow they can regret it too. You understand? Because there is no guarantee that they will be there forever. Maybe they are lucky to be there for 100 years. It's their wish. But I don't think, because nobody knows what's coming tomorrow. So I will be careful to favor something and regret it later. We have seen it by a lot of people, you know. So they always have to think positive. So for me, I think that's all what I wanted to say. I mean, advising the government to try and make sure that they got this thing, they get these things done before the election, so that they have something to show the people, because it's their promise, and all Gambians are sitting down waiting, you know, and they are discussing for a very, you know, because this thing is not an advantage for anybody, you know. For the diasporans themselves, there are a lot of disadvantages if you look at it, but you hear nobody shouting. Why? Because we have to offer ourselves, you know, we have to volunteer everything because of Gambia, because we are seeing Gambia and not our own interests. And every Gambian should think like that. You said it, Mr. Sawaneh. This is for Gambia, not for any, not MP or president or minister. This should be in the heads. Then everything will be easy. Then we don't even need this Jonathan there or anybody, or even discussing. And again, in the parliament, when I see certain discussions there, that one I'll say, you can see a lot of biasness in that place. Just being an observer from outside. I don't want to say directly to any individual, but everybody used to see it, people used to talk about it, for them to know and think that Gambians are watching them. Not from the Gambia, from outside the world. And this biasness is deliberate. You understand? They have to be correct. Certain things, you can see how things are moving. You know, they should not, especially being in certain position, one needs to be neutral. You understand? But I cannot be stopping you talking because you are talking something what I don't favor, and allow the other person talking because he's talking what I favor. Man, we are not in kindergarten, and people are not blind. You know, that is a very important position to sit there and try to be neutral and correct. But this biasness, even the kids are seeing it. It's the same. I'm not going to mention any individual, but you can think of yourself. I mean, that's all I wanted to say. Let them try and bring Gambia forward and forget their nonsense and their self-interest. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Mr. Sawaneh. Both of you really hit this real hard, and thank you for that. My final word, and I'll wrap this up. I know we are on top of the hour now. My final word is, yes, it is a shame to Gambia to have somebody come from outside to come help us build our own constitution. When Gambians can do it, we have our National Assembly members out there. And yes, one thing I want to say to what one of the things that Sawaneh was saying, when people say the executive doesn't have any power, the president doesn't have power. Well, power belongs to people. I just want to make that. People need to understand that the power belongs to them. Look at what all the powers that the 1997 Constitution gave to Jammeh, and look at what Jammeh did to us. We need to take those powers away, put it back into our own hands. Just like in America, people have the power, and people were able to get President Trump out. Okay, because people have the power. That same power in Gambia belongs to people. It's democracy. People need to take that power and make sure that the people that we put in position are there to conduct business for us. If we like it, we can vote for them for a second term. If we don't like it, we get them out of there. Just that easy. We need to get them out of there. Same thing applies to the National Assembly members. We have National Assembly members that are very productive. We have some that are not productive. And we need to look at this from the same standpoint. We put them in there. We nominated them. Gambian people voted for them to go in there. If they don't do their job, next election, do not vote for them. Let's get people that are going to make things happen. And I said this a long time ago. When it comes to success and successful people doing certain things, things that are successful. When it comes to people, there are three types of people: those who watch things happen, those who wonder what happened, and those who make things happen. We need to elect people that are going to make things happen, not watch things happen or wonder what happened because you're not involved in anything. You're always somewhere in the middle
You're
of something
always
and something happened. You say, I wonder what happened. Well, you should have been part of it. You should have been taking part and make something happen. If you don't like this, propose something else that's better. Don't just be, nowhere. You're there, you're sleeping, you don't know what is happening, you're
You
not
call
doing
it
anything, you're not
observer.
contributing to anything, you're against everything that comes in, and you're not proposing anything. That's bad. We need people that are going to make things happen, not
That is
watch things
observer.
happen or
Observer, sir.
wonder what happened. So that's what we need to look for in the next National Assembly members, so that they can make things happen and make the changes that we want them to do and make the things that we want them to do because we nominated them. We took our power. You know how democracy started. I've said this some time ago. Last year, I was talking somewhere. When democracy started is, in those days, people go in and they all meet, in a village, everybody meet and make a decision on their own, and make the decision together. But as the world grows, you cannot have everything that we need to talk. We cannot bring everybody from the villages and sit down to discuss that. That's why we nominated people as nominated members of the National Assembly to go represent us, go make the decision for us. us. Go do things for us. Decide what's good for us. So go there and represent us because we cannot all go there. So if you go there, you better make the right decisions for us. If not, next term, you're not going there. We'll get you out of there and get somebody else. So thank you all. And that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you both.
You remember, I told you, when you point the finger, don't forget the three are pointing at you.
Back to yourself. Yep. That's right.
So we cannot blame them, but we, the people who put them there too.
Exactly. Yeah, that is true. That's why people need to vote for the right people. People need to get the power need to belong to us. So we select the right people and put them in there. Yep.
Yeah. I think that's the takeaway. We are the people who should be responsible, and we are the people to blame. So once we do it right, those leaders would act upon them. But if we go on the sideline and pull them and try to tell them different things and confuse them, they're gonna fail and we're gonna fail. So we the people must excel. That's why we have this civic education show, so that we can, learn from one another, and also we can also, learn from together as a whole. So we are here to share information and to have, this analysis going. So we'll catch you guys next week. This is a wonderful debate. The Constitution must come back. It's not like Goodluck is gonna come and do some magic. We just have to face it. We have an issue. Let's face it to solve it. Nobody's coming from, no angel is coming from the sky to make us, undo what is done. This is what Gambian people want. We must go through it. I know it's hard. It might be hard for some people. It might not favor everybody, but guess what? Let's just mull around it, and we find our way until we pass it. I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sawaneh.
Thank you all, and let's all Gambians be people, that we all be somebody that's going to make something happen. Let's do something to make something happen. So
I know that it will come back. I know that they will make it. We just have to be optimistic and try to be real to ourselves and forget about our interests.
Yep.
Because what is going to be decided today is not for you and me.
Exactly.
It's for the future and then
country.
Their future. Because then you'll see that Gambia will go to the next level. So we have to be optimistic. We don't need any help from outside, because that's also another waste of money. We have already wasted 6 million in a very poor country like that. That is only the spit of the bag.
We cannot do halfway constitution while not concentrating on the key things like term limit. 2 terms is enough. That's what the Gambian people, they don't want any kind of like extended term.
In fact, before I fight for terms and so, I must be 100% sure that I'll win the next election. So
well, that's a story.
What if I say no, it should be like how I like it, and next election is the other way around. After some days, you say again, oh no, it's not good that it's like this. It should be the other way around.
Exactly.
You've been seeing that all the time. That's why I used to advise people, try to be real to yourself, clear lines and consistent. Then people know where you are. But if you are always after your interest, you yourself don't know where you are.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You have to say white or black. It's hard, but sometimes then people can take you somebody serious. But I cannot always favor what favors me.
Yeah.
And in this case, we have to think of Gambia, not you and me, but what is for Gambia? If we are patriotic and think of Gambia, and then being a president or minister or MP, they have to put in their heads that they are there for the Gambians, not for themselves. Once they try to think too egoistic, they are out of the line. They are there for themselves, and that's not why they are voted. They have to look and know, why am I here? Who brought me here? Am I solving their problem or not? That's the reason they are there. And when the people are fed up, you go out. You will go out. And Gambians are very clever now and well informed. When any political thinks that he can do it like before, the days are gone, I tell you. And this coming election, there will be a big surprise, I tell you. People.
I'll wait for the surprise. Thank you.
It's better that they stay neutral
with
the Constitution. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Very good conversation. Thanks to
Bye-bye.
our viewers. They say that we have a very good conversation. They type it
Yeah.
out there. They like it.
Yeah, that's good.
Good.
Thank
Thank you.
you,
Good.
guys.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.